Well, hello there, and thank you very much for clicking on this video today. So it's been a while since I made a video. I've been busy with stuff, but this is a video that I thought, oh, this is a story that's needs to be talked about. So this is a new report that's come from Amnesty International. It says that Israel is carrying out a state-led campaign of ethnic cleansing in the West Bank. And this is an article from The Independent online, which I'll post as I always do in the comment section, so that you can look at it for yourself if you want to go through all of it. So, the Israeli government is carrying out a state-led campaign of ethnic cleansing in the West Bank, which can't be blamed solely on rogue settlers or extremist ministers, a damning new report has claimed. So, exponential rise in state-backed settler violence has expelled thousands of Palestinians and allowed the annexation of their land, Amnesty International said in a substantial 150-page report. And international failure to impose strict sanctions on Israel are emboldening Israeli authorities to extend their control over the territory, it added. The report also, quite rightly, took aim at the ineffective words and half measures from the UK government to help tackle crimes in the settlements and its refusal to ban trade or investment into elements of the occupation. So this new report comes a day after the UK Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper laid out plans for a series of new sanctions on 6 organisations and 1 individual involved in financing, enabling and carrying out settler violence in the West Bank. But these measures are utterly toothless, and as several MPs, it says here, told The Independent, these measures fail to sufficiently address the scale of the issues facing the Palestinians in the West Bank. So let's go into more details of this, shall we? So, in its report, Amnesty cited UN data showing that at least 117 Bedouin and herding Palestinian communities have faced either full or partial displacement between January 2023 and April 2026, with at least 5,910 forcibly displaced by the end of April 2026. In the same period, OCHA data shows Israeli authorities demolished around about 3,400 Palestinian homes and structures in part of the West Bank known as Area C, displacing some 2,900 Palestinians. Now, the article does go on to mention that last year, The Independent spoke to Palestinians forcibly evicted from the settlement known as Kiryat al-Daba in the southern Hebron Hills, a village which was entirely demolished by Israeli bulldozers. So, genocide is deliberate and systematic destruction and displacement of a people or culture, and that is what we're seeing here. And then goes on to say that this week, Palestinians in the southern city of Hebron have been protesting against land confiscations in the Israeli-occupied West Bank. Images show Israeli settlers and soldiers protecting bulldozers as it operated on Palestinian land in the village of Dura as protests took place. So, I quote, "The scale and intensity of Israeli settler and some military actions in the West Banks have reached horrifying and deeply alarming levels," said Ahmed Aktaib, a resident senior fellow at the Atlantic Council's Scowcroft Middle East Security Initiative. Property destruction, targeted assaults, thefts, harassment, killings, and daily intimidations of Palestinian civilians, and routine attacks against entire villages and communities with full impunity are no longer the work of rogue actors. Because what the Israeli government has claimed is, oh, well, this is just a few extremists, this is just a few rogues. The state isn't sanctioning this, but the Israeli state is completely sanctioning it. And it goes on to say that they reflect a coordinated campaign enabled and, in many cases, actively supported by significant elements of Israeli government and state. So, in February, the Israeli government approved new measures allowing it to register West Bank land as state property, a move that it is said would strengthen, consolidate and broaden Jewish settlement in the region. And Amnesty report also found that Israeli settlers had established some 363 outposts in the occupied West Bank by the end of April 2026, citing the NGO Peace Now, with as many as 212 created since 2023, with the active encouragement of Israeli authorities. At the same time, the Israeli government has been carrying out land grabs, the report states, with nearly 58% of the land in Area C, which makes up nearly two-thirds of the West Bank, is unregistered, meaning that ownership is not recorded on the state-maintained registry. But by February 2026, Israeli authorities had seized half of this land through state land declarations. So the Israeli government is essentially just declaring, no, this is our land now, and we're going to use the army to come in and just demolish buildings and forcibly remove people. So Agnes Callamand, I think that's how you pronounce it, the Secretary General of Amnesty International, has said, over the past 3.5 years, Israeli authorities have accelerated state-sponsored campaign of ethnic cleansing in the West Bank, uprooting, dispossessing, and forcibly transferring Palestinian communities. What we're witnessing is deliberate state-led annexation in complete violation of international law unfolding before the eyes of the world. Countries, particularly those of influence over Israel, including the USA, the UK, Germany, as well as Italy, and other EU and Arab states, must immediately ban all trade, investment, and any form of cooperation or financial assistance which contributes to Israel's unlawful occupation, system of apartheid, and ethnic cleansing of Palestinians. And addressing the UK government's latest sanctions, Labour MP Richard Burgon said, or told The Independent, that Amnesty International report shows that the government's approach has been wholly inadequate, calling for widespread sanctions on Israel that were quite rightly brought against Russia during their unlawful invasion of the Ukraine. So, this is what happens when you believe that God is on your side, which many people in the Israeli government and Israel itself do. They believe that they are God's chosen people, and once you get that into your mind, then you can justify pretty much anything. You can justify forcibly evicting people from their land and claiming it for yourself by saying, well, God's on our side. It's rightfully ours because the big man upstairs says so, or the book says so. And you see it not just in Israel, but you see it all over the world. This is what happens when religious extremism is allowed to take root and basically dominate and become the dominating ideology of a government, of a country. And unfortunately, it's the Palestinian people that are suffering as a result of this religious extremism. So, thank you very much for viewing this video today. I hope you have a good day.